How's it going? If you are coming over here for my TikTok, thank you very much. Make sure you like and subscribe so in case there's anything in the future that I might say that you might want to hear. But anyway, um, recently I received an email from my daughter's high school stating that a teacher of hers had been arrested by the local police department for initiating a inappropriate relationship with a student. The email went on to say that he was terminated immediately and that they were cooperating fully with the police department in order to prosecute him. And I do want to say I very much appreciate the speed in which they reacted, the transparency they provided me by telling me exactly what happened, and the cooperation they're giving to make sure that this individual is not teaching children anymore. They didn't give details, of course, what he did, but it was just said that he was cultivating an inappropriate relationship with a student and that the police department was involved. But that opens the door to a discussion that really needs to be had, and that is if you have minor age children in school, whether it be preschool, kindergarten, 6th grade, 9th grade, senior in high school, you need to sit down with your child and have a discussion with them. Obviously, the preschoolers, you're going to have a little bit more of a toned down, easy, black and white conversation with, because they're not going to understand a lot, but there are basic things you can tell them that will protect them. But first and foremost, a teacher should not be giving an individual student a gift, whether it be a box of pencils or a fancy bottle of perfume or an expensive video game. If your child has received a gift like that from a teacher and they were the only ones that received one, and it wasn't because they won a contest or a drawing or a raffle or a prize or a reward, it was just out of the blue, here you go, have this, that's suspect. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but it is suspect. If a situation like that arises where your daughter or your son comes home from school, hey, Mr. Smith gave me this today as a present because he likes me. At that point you ask, well, did anybody else get one? Well, no. Well, did you win a contest? Was it like a drawing or something? No. With that, you would immediately call the school, explain to them that your child has received a gift for no apparent reason from their teacher, and you'd like to know if that's just common practice, what the policy is on that, or whatever. That way, if it is innocuous and there's nothing wrong with it, the school's aware of what's going on. They can tell you, oh yeah, that's common practice, and they're aware it's happening. A student should not give their personal phone number out to their teacher, nor should they have their teacher's personal phone numbers. Most schools give their teachers a official website, or not website, but email address attached to the school, or they have an extension at the school that the student can call. But a private home phone number or a private cell phone number, that should not be exchanged between just the student and the teacher. Obviously, teachers get close to their kids in their classes, but the parent should be the one that the teacher calls if there's any issues. Little Johnny's having a behavior problem in school, so he doesn't call little Johnny after school and say, hey, we need to talk. No, he calls little Johnny's parents and lets the parents in on the loop. The teacher will be involved with the discussion, but so will the parents. There should never be any communication between the student and the teacher outside of school unless the parents are involved with the discussion. Students should not go over to teachers' houses at any point in time unless the parents are with them. Teachers should not come to the student's house without the parents being there. if any of those situations occur, it opens the door for something bad to happen. Not necessarily guaranteed something bad to happen, but it presents the opportunity for the possibility of something bad to happen. And it's better to prevent it now than react to it later. Because if you prevent it now, the child does not have to go through that, as opposed if you reacted to it later. Make sure you let your child know that if something out of the ordinary happens at school between their teacher and them, they get a weird gift, the teacher makes a weird remark, makes a strange offer, anything like that, let your child know to tell you or the closest adult. And the number one thing that you have to instill in them is that if they tell somebody, they will not be in trouble. It is not their fault. They did nothing wrong. Because one of the tools that an offender uses to keep their crime a secret is to tell the child that they will be in trouble if they say something, or they'll really disappoint them if they say something, or they'll be punished if they say something. Reassure your child that they will not be in any trouble if they say anything, that they are supposed to say something. Doesn't matter how petty it seems or how large it seems. Again, if the teacher gives just one student a box of pencils for no apparent reason, that could possibly be the start of grooming. If you don't know what grooming is a tool that offenders use to gain trust and affection and attention from their victims or their potential victims. It doesn't start out the first day of class, the teacher going to the student saying, hey, let's go jump in the sack. That's not what happens. Starting day one, they pay special attention to your child. Your child will get special gifts, special attention, special treatment, and your child will be the only one getting it. Or there may be others, but it won't be known. They'll do it separately so one doesn't know about the other. If that's going on, then that's inappropriate, and that should be a discussion that needs to be had with the principal and that teacher to make sure nothing's going on. I'm not saying run out and call the cops on any teacher that's ever given your child a gift. I'm not saying that at all. But when the gift is given and there's no apparent reason for it and it's only your child that gets it, I'm saying pay close attention to what's going on. That should be a little red warning light that goes ding, 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 and says, watch the situation and see what happens here. Maybe nothing. But then again, it could be something. And as the government has told us about numerous other things, if you see something, say something. Again, I'll say, if you see something, say something. But I'm going to add to that. If you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. Our main job as a parent is to make sure that, number one, our child does better than we did when we were younger. But number two is to make sure they're safe. That means at school, at church, at the mall, at the park, walking down the sidewalk, in our own homes. Make sure you have the discussion with your child that if any adult says or does anything inappropriately towards them, that they are to tell another adult about it immediately, and they will not be in trouble for it. Let's face it, us as adults are the only line of defense that our children have against the big bad world. And everybody knows that there's a big bad world out there. There's somebody around every corner trying to get over on somebody else, whether it be monetarily, whether it be violence, whether it be sex crime related. There's always going to be somebody somewhere trying to come at you or your children. And it's our job to give our children the tools to protect themselves and keep themselves safe from that type of situation. If you have any questions or doubts or suspicions, don't hesitate to call your local police department. Tell them the situation. Tell them exactly what's going on, why you have your concerns. Let them investigate it. If it comes back that there was nothing going on wrong, then cool. It's taken care of, but at least you know your child is safe. If you don't say something, that gives the offender the opportunity to not only continue grooming your child, but it also gives them an opportunity to groom other children. So, see something, say something, hear something, say something. Protect our kids. Call the police department, let them do their investigation, and make sure that these offenders are not grooming our kids or offending against our kids. Have a great day.